We got 15 minutes, so let's knock it out. Real quick, thanks to Kevin in the booth who ran that 35mm.
Yeah.
That is the only circulating print of this movie right now. There is a new, I saw just today, they announced a 4K disc coming out soon from Bosworth. So we'll be able to restore a nice version of this soon at home.
I got a laser test.
He's got laser test.
And an 8-track.
And an 8-track. I also wanted to thank Morgan for co-programming this for this night. Thank you, Morgan.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't save anybody.
No.
They're always saying, you didn't save anybody. No, we
Don't
just kill people and blew shit up.
But you know why I think you're perfectly cast? And I think there's a couple reasons. One is that story about your grandmother you tell. Like, there's the line delivery there.
Oh, that's my grandfather. Yeah,
Yeah, grandfather.
That's actually a true story. They used to say, yeah, he'd go get dinner, and I'd go fetch the fattest hen, and I'd bring it over to him, and he'd cut his head off. He wouldn't cut it all the way off, it would just kind of dangle on the side, and he'd sit down and run around, blood squirting out. Pretty good for a 6 and 7-year-old.
And then, obviously, that's you riding those motorcycles. I mean,
Yeah,
you see other actors are being pulled on something. That's just you.
Yeah, I mean, I did get to learn how to ride bikes when I was a kid, so, yeah, and I designed that bike. But everybody that came in and read for a part, our first question was, can you ride a bike? And of course, everybody, oh yeah, I ride a bike. And so we get on set, and I don't know how many injuries we had. We had falling, driving off the street. They didn't know how to front brake and then flip over the bike. So one of the reasons why it's hard to make those kinds of movies. And think about it, none of those were CGI. They didn't have any of that stuff. So all that stuff was real. Like the explosions were real. All the fire was hot, and the fighting was real. The stunts were, carefully done for the most part. Although I did put the one dude that I fought in the sand pit. We were supposed to go to a Motley Crue concert that night, and we were just super tired, and we were shooting that final scene, or the final punch that I was hitting him, and he does the backflip. He was a very athletic guy, and the cameraman kept saying, "Man, I'm seeing air. I'm seeing air." I said, "Dude, I am brushing his whiskers." He goes, "No, I'm showing. We'll do one more take." And we were so tired by that time, I said, okay, I'll try to move in a little bit closer, and I tagged him full force. And I felt so bad when I made contact, and the guy just laid down the ground, and he just said, "Just finish it. No, we're not doing it. Just finish it." So I picked his head up and then dropped it down. He went to the hospital, had a hematoma on the side of his head, and he was so pissed that he missed the Motley Crue concert. we had backstage passes and everything. That was Motley Crue was really good.
So in Craig Baxley's autobiography, he makes the claim this movie is called Brotherhood on paper.
Yeah.
And then he said you and your agent muscled him into changing the name. You made the right call, but Stone Cold's such a better title.
Well, the original title was Heart of Stone,
Heart of Stone.
and that was because we had a heartfelt beginning of the movie. And I got married to a lizard and a Playboy bunny. Cookie sniffer. So, yeah, they changed it, but yes, they're Stone Cold.
I don't know if
And I was before Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, that's right.
I was done that before.
I don't know if 140 people would come out on it Wednesday night at 9:30 to watch Heart of Stone, though. They wanted to see Stone
Probably
Cold.
not. But we have been begged and asked, somebody said, let's do a sequel. We've been begged and asked to try to do a sequel. We tried to get a sequel done many times. One of the biggest problems was the insurance problem, because nobody wants to insure a motorcycle movie. And then they shut us down when we went into the Capitol. That was the real Capitol in Arkansas. And how about that helicopter? I mean, dude, it was like literally like just a few feet from the ground. And had to dip underneath power lines going down Main Street. So that was real. But we got the permit to do the shooting in the Capitol, but they failed to fill out exactly what we were going to do in the Capitol. So that first day that we shot, all those motorcycles flying out of the back of the truck, and they were going up the marble stairs, and they were going, "No, we're shutting this down. You have to the end of the day." And we had that motorcycle shooting through the window in the helicopter. And they said, "Can we at least do that?" I said, "Yeah, but you cannot blow it up. You can do the stomp, but you can't blow it up." And the Pyrex guy he was a maniac. He loved to just throw gasoline on everything. And for some reason, he didn't get the message. So we blew that helicopter up, singed the side of the building, took out all of the hedges and everything. And Benji, the guy that played the Italian guy, his name was Benji, he was the AD. He was the only guy that looked like a wop. We put him in that role. And as soon as that helicopter blew up and singed the building, all we heard was, "And that's a wrap, we're moving on." And everybody just put their shit in the trailer and we just got out of there. I'm pretty sure the insurance company.
Bill Clinton shows up to work the next day, what's going on?
Bill Clinton was the governor then, so maybe they probably got a deal.
I guess we can open this up for some questions from
Yeah,
the audience.
I'd love to.
Right here, straight ahead.
Yeah, hey, were there real bikers in the biker gang that you were working with, or were they just actors?
No, we had a combination of both. The guy that played poker, he was always around chains. He was a red-haired guy. His name was Magic Swartz. We actually hired him because he was an outlaw biker originally, and we wanted somebody that could consult and like, is this the way it really goes? Because one thing I didn't want to do was upset the outlaw biker world. I didn't want them pulling up in my driveway. But he was a bandito here in Texas, and he was the one that, I don't know if many people know about motorcycle clubs. So there's the Hells Angels and there's the Banditos, and those are the 1% clubs. And if you got a 1% tattooed on the inside of your hand, they pretty much never let you leave. But he negotiated a way to leave, I guess in good standing. So he ended up being like the guy that consulted with us and said, yeah, this is kind of the way it would be, sort of, and you know, we don't normally kill people out in front of everybody like that. We take them out in the back and kill them. But yeah, we had him on, and Chains had his own motorcycle built, and the guy that built, the woman that built his and painted his motorcycle, she was married to a Hells Angels that they had a shop there in LA, and his name was Tiny, and he was not tiny. He was 7 foot, like 450 pounds, and this woman was unbelievably, talented, but really pretty. And Chains always flirted with her when we went over to the bike shop and just looked at the paint job, and I'm going, dude, they don't want to mess with her, dude. And he ended up marrying her. And I think they're still married. He lives up in Canada right now, but I'm surprised that he's still alive, because generally they don't let that shit go by without somebody paying the price for it.
All right, who else? Here in the front.
First shout out to Baby Blue Barbecue.
Yeah, man, best one in LA. Now I was a partner in the wrong one. I was a partner in the one over in West Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't make it. No, wrong.
Still great food.
It's awesome food. Like anybody that goes to LA, there's one on Lincoln Boulevard, 444 Lincoln Boulevard. It's absolutely fantastic. You gotta go.
But how do you compare NFL training to action movie training?
Well, I mean, you get hurt for real playing ball.
Yeah.
Because I've had 34 surgeries and multiple body part replacements. I attest most of that to playing football at Oklahoma in the Wishbone. So at least this is somewhat staged. The fight scene wasn't, because we wanted the fight scene to be real, so we were acting. And the guy was, he's a man's man, so he said, hit me, I don't care. So I was like, but I've worked with some I've hit every actor that I've ever worked with. I apologized up front and said, look, sometimes I might get a little overzealous, so, pardon me, there was a movie that I was in that I worked with Bruce Payne, and he was a pain in the ass. So I didn't mind hitting him, but I broke his rib, knocked his teeth out, put him in the hospital in one shot. So, did not apologize for that one. And the crew actually gave me a present.
Back here.
This was your first movie. Well, you were like surrounded by all these veteran character actors. How did they help you in your performance?
Lance was really my go-to guy, because, like I said, when I started this whole thing, I was in complete fear. I mean, like shaking fear, like there's no way. I mean, I didn't mind if they wanted to put me in a movie, and it's like I'm gonna play you know, a small character in the film, and there's gonna be other guys, but they put me like, you're the star ahead of them. I'm going, dude, that's a lot of pressure, dude. And at the time, my career was a little bit controversial. I had half the country that loved me, and the other half of the country didn't like me. So there were very few people that were in love with the Boz. So I just thought, man, we're going into it, and we're really trying to push something in somebody's face and forcing them to like it. But everybody, you know, that was on the set, with the exception of Ice, William Forsythe, he was a pain in the ass because he was really into his characters. He never took a shower and smelled like a skeleton. It was horrible. Nice guy off the set, away from the film, but just on the, he's one of those method actors. But Lance was instrumental because he was just genuine with me going through the process. He really wanted me to take up the vice of smoking, so he tried to teach me to smoke before, and I said, I can't do it as cool as you can. It just burns my lungs, I can't do it. I'll come up with a different gag. I never really did, but, you know, every actor has their own, like, style. And of course, the chick that was in there, that was her name was Arabella Holzbach. We had 2 or 3 different chicks that came in. We had one very talented chick from Canada, but she was like 4'2" and didn't think she was gonna work, just because the size of everybody else. And then we had Heather Locklear come in like 4 or 5 times, and I kept asking the director, what's wrong with her? And he goes, she's too pretty. I said, that's a problem? We can't have a pretty bitch for, you know, for change? This old lady's gotta be pretty, right? And then he pulls this one in, and I'm going, but she's translucent. She doesn't have any blood in her. She ended up being the one that the director kind of played around with the party favorites, so it ended up being a problem. But she ended up, you know, hanging through it. But yeah, to answer your question, I leaned heavily on the actors, and I also had my own personal acting coach on the set with me at all times, so that really helped me through that first film.
Anyone else out there?
Here's one over here.
Oh, yeah.
There's a movie from 1974, an Australian film called Stone, in
Okay.
which a cop goes undercover as a biker gang.
Sounds like Stone Cold.
I've never heard anyone compare these two or say like it was a ripoff or anything. I'm sure no one knew at the time. Have you ever heard of that movie since making this film?
I haven't, but I'm gonna look it up now.
The Australian, that's the Australian one, right?
Yes, that's right.
Stone.
Is it anything like this one?
I
Have you
mean,
seen it?
For the most part, like broad strokes.
Okay. Well, everything in Hollywood is written in broad strokes. So. I mean, they steal everything. They remade Wizard of Oz. And they remade Snow White. They don't always work.
I'd like just one more.
Thank you.
All right, right. On the left side here.
Yeah. Something I get fascinated with in action movies at the time is like when you're getting beat up and it's just like you're covered in sweat, covered in blood. Like, what is the makeup process like on a day-to-day basis? So, like, because I'm sure like there's continuity they have to go with. Like, what is that like for you to be like, oh, we have to get the sweat and the blood right on you every time?
Absolutely horrible. I cussed all of the people, especially during the scene that we were doing in the Capitol, because first of all, he wanted me to jump out of the helicopter and through the glass, you know, right from going, that doesn't seem practical. I don't think I would survive that. He goes, no, John Stone, he survived everything. They're all cut up. He said, no, we'll cut you up a little bit. And then, you know, in the helicopter, the oil that I was spraying all over everybody, that came out super hot. So that's supposed to be all over me. So I had corn syrup, blood. She constantly sprayed on my shirt, on my pants. I had cuts on my leg, and you know, I kept telling her, I said, we're shooting from this like a cowboy, so that's what, you know, they shoot from the waist up. So it's like, they're not even seeing my leg and you're spraying blood down my pants. So get away from me. But it's part of it, you know, you get used to. It's part of the makeup part. And it's kind of like being a football player. You get to put on all the tape and the eye black and you get ready for it, and then it's action, and then you gotta be nice, so you gotta be calm. That's the only difference really in football versus acting.
Back row.
I heard Lance Henriksen required that he write all his own lines. Is that true?
I didn't hear that from Lance. Lance, I mean, we got to improvise some of our stuff. As a matter of fact, I'm still waiting for Top Gun Maverick to give me my credit on the Imagine the Future Change because you're not in it. But when they said that, I said, that's my line. That is my line. And I actually made that line up. So not all the lines in the script are. It's funny. It depends on the writers. If the writer is really attached to the script, man, they tell you to say every word that's on the page. That's my word, and don't mess it up. And then there's other writers that go, yeah, I like that word better. Go ahead and say that. So it's kind of a pick and choose. But TV's a little bit harder. TV, they want you to say every single line, every word, down to the T. So it's a little bit more problematic.
Over here on this side?
We want to hear about your best co-star in this movie, the Monitor Lizard. Can you tell us the hug, the food you made for him, the contact still with the lizard?
I don't have contact with the lizard, and I'm pretty sure he's passed on now. Although I know that he probably live forever. I did not know that I was going to be co-starred with the lizard because it surprised me on the day. They just said you're gonna have a pet when you get to set. And I said, oh yeah, it'll be a dog or something. I remember reading the script. They said you're gonna make a protein shake, but it's not for you. It's for the dog or for the pet. And I go, oh, okay, that's fine. We'll make something up, and so they had all these ingredients. And I go, none of these. I wouldn't eat any of these ingredients. Protein shake with the pizza. There's potato chips. There's a Snicker bar. Maybe the bananas, but the eggshells. I'm not doing that. He goes, but the pet's gonna love it. So then the pet came after lunch, and they let it out. I'm go, that's not my. I'm not touching that thing. And he was walking down the alley, and he had just finished lunch, I guess. And as he's walking away, he lifts his tail, and I don't know if you've ever seen a monitor lizard let it out. And he could put a fire out. It's just great. And I said, well, what makes you think that that's not going to happen on set? He only shits once a day, and that's his shit. So you're good for that. That's why we scheduled it for after lunch. But he was calm. I was worried about if I get real close, is he going to bite me? He said, no, he won't bite you. So that's the closest I've ever been to a lizard.
We got a couple more. So, right here.
Hey, so that black G-string little, if you were ever,
That was high in the day.
you gotta own it, baby.
No, I own it. I'm totally proud, man. I would have done it naked, but I'm pretty sure that would have turned it from an R to an X.
If a Playgirl ever propositioned you like Burt Reynolds to show your goods, would you have done it?
My wife was up there today. I think she knows the answer. I am not
I know
shy.
TMZ was here tonight.
I think all my neighbors have seen me walking in the alley naked. Sometimes, in trash day, you forget that I got that last piece of trash. I got to get it out before they come on Tuesday. Sorry, honey.
You mentioned in the intro how you were really feeling unprepared going into the project.
Yeah.
Was there a day when everything just clicked and you felt like, you were getting it and it was working for you?
Yeah, there actually was. It was a painful day because it was a self-inflicted pain. I was going through the audition process, and it's one thing to know that it's you're hired for the character. I've been in multiple, where you go in and you read and you go, I don't know if I'm gonna get this, and you get super nervous, and they tell you not to memorize lines, but you memorize the lines anyway because you want to look like you're reading the lines off the page and da-da-da. So this was different, and I still couldn't get over the jitters, and I didn't really know how to react to somebody, especially when it's a contrived scene. So I remember working with the little Canadian chick, and I had been through multiple auditions with multiple actors that were either in the movie or didn't make the movie. And I always felt like, man, I suck. I'm terrible. I'm nervous. I stutter. I don't know what. I'm sweating. And I remember there was a time in Oklahoma when I was trying to figure out, am I gonna fit here? What do I got to do to just get rid of the fear? Just let go of it. And in that particular day in the studio, I went up to the wall and I punched the wall 2 or 3 times. I messed my knuckles up pretty good, but it just got that nervous energy out of me. And then after that, it was like, okay, let's do this. And then it was like just listening to what the person says, and then taking a moment, and listening, and then absorbing what they said, and then have an honest reaction back. But be in the moment, just be present in that moment, not, portray yourself somewhere down the road, or think about what you're going to say. Just be in the moment. And that's why acting coach just kind of always tells me, just be in the moment. Just be in the moment. Just feel if it's a real feeling, I don't care where the feeling comes from, then you're in that moment. And it took a little bit, and my knuckles, didn't appreciate it that day. But that was that same feeling that I had when I was at Oklahoma, and I just said, you know what, I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. So what's the worst going to happen? Just put your foot to the metal and just go as fast as you can and just create chaos. And that's kind of the way it kind of happened at Oklahoma at the same time. So, probably not the same way every actor does it.
Well, it's up there on screen, man. Like, I think it's a great performance. I hope you can be proud of it.
I thought
Doing good is much more important. I mean, there's other guys doing the same thing at the same time. You were born to be an action star, man.
Well,
I hope you, and it's testament. It's not like with sports, you have a bad game, the bad game stays a bad game for history. I know in 1991 this wasn't received, but it's found its audience, and we really appreciate you coming out here and sharing.
I'm like I said, I'm honored that you guys took the time to come out and spend time with it. It makes me feel, validated that, stuff that I've done in the past, still resonates with people. I'm sure some of you guys obviously weren't born in 1991. This old fuck really. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. Yeah.